So I wanted to share my thoughts on SOFI Technologies, ticker symbol SOFI. Not that everyone else on YouTube hasn't already shared their thoughts on SOFI, because apparently it's just one of those stocks, right? Anyways, I guess I talk about it more often now, but yeah, this is my largest holding. So I've been holding longer than you guys, most likely, back in the IPOE days. Anyways, I want to talk about my short-term prediction and my long-term prediction, right? Long-term prediction, I think that SOFI Technologies they are firing on all cylinders. They're dabbling their fingers in all the cookie jars, and they're somehow getting market share in all of the cookie jars. They are excelling more than, I'd say, most, if not all, economists or stock analysts predicted. But I am slightly worried short term. So the recent run-up, it was like from 650 to, I think, now 8. It ended at 8, but it went up to like 850 or like 830ish or something like that. I'm too lazy to check, and that's awesome, right? My portfolio is smiling, grinning from ear to ear. But I think the thing that I'm worried about short term is the stability of just the banking sector in general. I talked about this recently in like multiple videos actually, about how Bank of America is kind of getting like screwy. JP Morgan's getting kind of screwy, and like Wells Fargo is just a piece of crap. But they're increasing their provision for credit losses, and that's kind of worrisome. Oh, I forgot to mention Morgan Stanley, right? Morgan Stanley, they actually decreased their provision for credit losses, but Twitter deal. I think they have like some $3 billion or something like that, some crazy amount. I think they're the biggest lender in the Twitter deal, in the Musk Twitter deal. And I just feel like you look at what's happening at X, you look at what's happening with Elon and like his situation. I don't know how I feel about Morgan Stanley. I think something they're gonna have to unwind. They're gonna have to unwind their position eventually, but looking just at like Bank of America, JP Morgan, they're increasing their provision for credit losses, which shows, or at least like somehow signals, my belief that there is a probability that something bad might happen sooner rather than later. I think that even though SOFI is excelling on all cylinders and they're basically de-risked compared to the other banks, the only problem is because it's a bank, if there's a single bank run on any bank, that might lower sentiment for people investing in banks, and there might be a bank run even if there's a bank run not in SOFI. I think that a lot of people might start selling SOFI Technologies, which I think is completely unwarranted based off of what management is saying in their ER, based off of what management is doing, and based off of what you can see SOFI doing. You see the customers of SOFI, and they're only really lending to these high credit score customers. But if there's a bank run on one of these other, even major banks, right, the Bank of America, JP, I really doubt there's gonna be a bank run on JP Morgan, but Bank of America, even these other smaller banks, smaller regional banks, that selling pressure might spill over to SOFI, and I don't know when it will happen, but I do caution that at least be prepared, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't go all in on weekly calls on SOFI just because, I don't know, whatever's gonna happen in the next week. It just seems kind of, it's not bubbly, but there's, maybe I'm reading the tea leaves, but I see something bad happening with the banking sector, and who knows, right? Maybe the banking sector will be perfectly fine. There won't be any bank runs. Maybe the Federal Reserve is going to bail them all out and whatever. Everyone's going to be like hunky-dory. But I just want to, like, those are just my thoughts on the short term for SOFI Technologies. I'm slightly worried about, just not even slightly worried about SOFI, right? Again, this is me being more slightly worried about the other banks, about the regional banks that are just, they're leveraged out the wazoo, or they bought too many commercial properties and that those loans are coming due. Maybe they're investing in people that have slightly just recently lost their jobs, more people that are lower credit scores, right? Lower credit rating. Maybe they have those loans. And I think that it's possible that spillage from those smaller banks or those less prepared, those more risky banks, might impact the stock of SOFI. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if there is a bank run, definitely definitely be careful, right? This is not financial advice, but I would say reconsider, like always consider before you panic sell. Oh no, everyone's selling SoFi. Oh no, everyone's selling whatever this X, Y, and Z. What are the reasons they're selling it for? Is it just market sentiment? Is it just Mr. Market being overly depressed, or is it just is it a buying opportunity, or is Mr. Market, does he have some reason? Is he being rational? Why are they selling Are they selling just based off of FUD, or are they selling based off of fundamentals, right? So I do see slightly more volatility in the banking sector coming soon. I don't know when, right? I'm not an oracle, I'm not a seer, but I just think that it's possible that a lot of new people that are in SoFi Technologies based off of just the recent run up, or people that have recently rebought into SoFi Technologies, they might be, I'm just assuming like if you sold it before, you're probably paper hands or whatever, right? You're just buying. Don't be the person to buy the rip and then sell the dip. Don't buy the peak and then sell the bottom, right? Just because people spread FUD, just because something happens to some other bank, right? Always reconsider, always look into the companies that you're investing in and determine whether or not they're still worthy investments. At the end of the day, it's really up to you to decide whether or not you want to buy or sell. And I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. Like, what do you think about the banking sector? Do you think anything bad might happen? I don't know. I just, like, for example, even JP Morgan, the fact that they have to increase their provision for credit losses, but also the fact that they start charging for checking accounts and savings accounts, that's also slightly showing some type of financial weakness. The fact that they have to do so, even just anecdotally, you see a lot of companies that are leaving San Francisco, leaving these major cities that just have a lot of like empty commercial space. Someone is paying for the property tax for that. Someone is paying for just that thing to just be there. All the while that building or that property is decreasing in value. I don't want to spread FUD, right? But I just want to say, like, be wary of if this ever happens, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. But nonetheless, hey, SoFi Technologies just went up like $1.50 within like a week or two, or like a week and a half. Hell yeah, man. So I'm still mega bullish on SoFi Technologies. I just wanted to say that even if there is short-term pain, I don't believe it will be because of SoFi. I believe if any short-term pain were to occur, it would be because of the sector that SoFi is in. And because SoFi is in so many sectors, it's like they're kind of not exposed, but like they're exposed to the change in sentiment to so many sectors, which is kind of what's been depressing the stock value. I think as soon as people realize that just because they're in those sectors and it doesn't mean that they're going to be affected as strongly as those sectors, just because of how management has been executing and how they've been managing their risks. All the while, everyone's been leveraged up the wazoo. I think that SoFi Technologies has been going slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, and let's go SoFi Technologies. Woo!